Tell me when.
We're recording.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
everybody. This
Hi,
is Malcolm
everybody.
Berman with Phil Margo.
Phil
We have a special.
Margo,
And
Go ahead,
Maxine
introduce
Walking
our guest.
Doors,
Margo.
and one of the two great green divas, Maxine, my
Right.
sister, and her little puppy,
Green Diva dog Sparkles.
Sparkles, her
Okay.
little new
Yeah,
puppy.
she's
Isn't she cute? Look at
she's
that.
really a cutie face.
Look at that.
She's like a little bear. So she's like 10 weeks old or 9 weeks old. I have to count.
Look at
Oh,
that. She knows you're her friend right away, huh?
she's a little baby.
Easy.
Say it's Uncle Phil. Say hi, Uncle. And
That's
Uncle. Yes.
Uncle
okay.
Phil.
Since things are so dour now, we thought we'd start with something pleasant like a gorgeous little young pup.
Yep. She's actually gonna turn, see her snout is silver. And she
Yeah.
will turn full silver at 2 years old.
She's
So
going to be a silver dog.
the silvers are born
Yep.
very dark and then they get silver, right? Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
All right.
Anyway, guys, one of the reasons we're have a Maxine on because she is one of the Green Divas, and right now
Yes, we are.
the main topic we wanted to talk about. Guess what? Ecology.
Global Sherming.
Global Sherming.
Gerbil morning.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, at this
Gerbil
point,
morning. We got to talk about gerbil morning because all the gerbils are morning. 'cause
Morning,
the-
MOURNING,
Right.
morning.
gerbils, I don't even know where the poor gerbils are. If they're in the forest, they're screwed. I mean, at least the ones in Northern California. It's
Well, all I know is I think that the major cause of all the problem is that we don't have the gardener coming to weed the forest
Well, you know,
and get rid of
well,
the.
that's what Trump said that. He goes, you gotta clean the leaves because what's happening is the trees are drying out and they're exploding.
but yesterday he said, "Don't worry, it'll get cool."
Right.
He said that.
Yes.
He's such a fucking moron. How do people buy that? I think the topic is how do people go? I read an article today about that the people who are his core base don't leave him, no matter what he does. What he said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, is true. He could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and his base will think it's fine.
Well, what I don't understand, his press lady says that he believes in science.
Oh
You
yeah.
listen to the scientists. The problem is
Sure.
the scientists tell him that we're in a pandemic. This to wear masks, keep social distances, and all he says is, "Nah, we have a full handle on that." In the meantime, 195,000 people have died as of today.
He's lived.
And we're getting more. And he goes out in crowds without a mask and has thousands of people get together, for his rallies indoors.
Right,
He's
but
lived his whole life. He's lived his whole life where people protected him from being arrested or being beaten up or getting into school to let him get into a good school and all of that. He's been a sheltered person all his life. That's what he is. And he believes that nothing can touch him. And so far,
He's right.
American
he's
people
been right.
have proven him right. So far he's gotten away with it. And so why shouldn't he think he could get away with rigging an election and becoming premier for 27 years?
Well, it seems like, the problems that we have with global warming is affecting the entire world. It's affecting the entire United States. It's not 20 years from now. It's this year.
Now,
We've seen more hurricanes coming in. The whole south coast, southeast coast is inundated. Today now there's one hurricane that's there already.
Sally, yeah.
And we have 5
That's
more.
going to Alabama.
And we have 5 more ready to come in. In the west over here, we're being burnt down. The air quality is poor. We can't breathe.
it was 150 the other day.
5.
Where?
No, the air quality in LA was 150, which means that 50 is okay. 100 is where people who have breathing problems are going to be worse affected, and 150 is everybody. You know, I mean, it's pathetic.
Stay indoors.
It's how, and you know what? It's not just Trump. It's all the Republicans that have been for the last 50 years that have stood up against this as a hoax. Well, Maxine, you're the expert on this.
I'm certainly not an expert, but
You,
Well,
you're
yeah,
the,
you have to be
you know the
a rocket
history.
scientist to know what is going on, and that I've been trying to get this message out in one form via radio, podcasts, organizations since 2005, and like no one was listening at all in 2005. Like,
Well, I
no,
hate to tell you, Maxine, in this
Yeah.
group, you are the expert.
that's pretty
You've
good.
been, you've been doing this. But the question I have, two questions. Number one, can we prevent global warming, or is it something endemic in nature?
No, it is completely man. It's man is making the planet by their, various sundry ways. They're making the planet hotter. The fossil fuel industry is spewing gases into the atmosphere. Carbon emissions are highest that they've ever been. And because of that, and because of, what it's causing weather patterns to be crazy. I mean, when you have that much in the air and you can't rectify it, it has to be brought down. That's why there's an organization called 350.org. It's like 350 parts per million, but it's up in the 400s now, which is danger zone. It's like everyone was trying to get this solved so that by 2020 or 2030 or 2040, we're going to reach the tipping point by 2030. That's what the UN report says. I think we're hitting the tipping point now, and I'm getting special effects from my dog to prove it.
They still don't believe it.
I mean, there's something called science. I mean, there's weather is a condition of the atmosphere, over short periods of time, and you get rain and you get snow and you get winds.
Mhm.
But then you have climate, which is, the atmosphere over a long period of time. So it could be droughts and heat and other, issues that come up, including flooding and whatever. And so people think, it's just the weather. No, it's not just the weather. It's the climate. And the climate is changing because there's methane being produced by fossil fuel industries, which is having a major, effect on the globe. This is not just, here in the States.
Well, being very simplistic, I remember it was years ago. The theory is that the ozone layer is being blocked off, and we're producing all of these carbons that are hitting the ozone layer, and instead of escaping, they're being put back into our atmosphere, and this is causing a warming trend.
Well, the ozone,
ozone layer
that
is
was a big issue a few
That was
decades
years ago. I don't know.
decades ago. But the warming
The
is,
ozone layer is being depleted, right?
well, it was actually stopping. There was a big hole in the ozone, and it was
Right.
starting to shrink. The biggest cause of ozone is refrigerants leaking. And there were, from your refrigerants, and it was going down until they found that there's been some leaks in, I think it's China, and they're trying to pinpoint with satellites what they're going to do about that. And there's something called the Drawdown Project, and Drawdown's having a main event on the 21st on Monday. It's going to be a 2-hour virtual event of climate scientists, business. It's going to be a really terrific event that I hope people can do. But Drawdown is 100 solutions to what's happening now that can fix things, and it's already happening. These solutions are already in place. And at this point, if we even went through 50 of them, we'd reduce our emissions. Everybody, has a carbon footprint. If you fly a lot, now not so much, you're adding, your carbon footprint from flying. You're driving more. Now, strangely enough, people aren't driving as much because of the pandemic, which is a whole other issue, which is also sort of climate related, because now these animals that you would never think would transfer their DNA or whatever to humans are doing so, because they're bringing these bats and other creatures in close proximity, which is what they did in Wuhan. So that's a problem. But these things, that the pandemic, I mean, it's amazing how it transferred, and it's amazing how it's infecting so many people, and science hasn't really caught up with it. And again, the pandemic team that was in place at the White House, is gone.
Well, well, as Trump said, when he came in, there was a pandemic team, but they weren't doing anything, and he didn't want to pay them.
Right.
Fired everybody.
Right.
And then the post office isn't doing anything. They don't want to pay them either.
And the problem, he is running.
I don't even know.
I hate to get back to Trump again, but he is running this as like the U.S. as a business. He is not foreseeing what can happen on a global arena, nor on the U.S. arena. Right now,
he's not running it as a business. He's running it as a scam. He can't even run a business. He failed at running a business. He's not that good at it. He was never that good on it. But his father gave him $400 million. If I had $400 million, I couldn't possibly lose it. I would put it in different banks and earn. I would even. So I'd have $400 million and $50. I don't.
Well, as I said, he's probably the only businessman alive that failed in a gambling casino. I mean, that's a moneymaker.
No, and he failed at everything he did, and he's taking us along with him.
But the question
he's
is,
killing the climate. He's literally killing the climate. I mean, he's rolling back
He got rid of
EPA regulations off the top, the Clean Water Act. He
Really?
rolled it back, and it was opposed by real estate developers and the farm lobby, and that would keep streams and wetlands from being protected. Toxic coal ash pollution, that was rolled back. Arsenic, cadmium, different things leach into the groundwater. He gutted those protections and ignored increased risks to children. Clean air regulations, he's repealing the Clean Power Act. Scott Pruitt was then, now we have Wheeler. And these people, he puts people in to sabotage the different departments. I mean, he's taking down everything piece by piece with these people who are in there to take it down.
Well, what he puts in the department, he puts in all these departments people who had opposed the departments,
right?
Who had sued in courts to have them done away. Now, since they are contributors to Trump, all of a sudden they become heads of the departments, even if they're not passed by Congress, but they become acting heads.
Yeah, and he said the truth. He said he'd hire the best people for him.
Right.
He hired the best people for him, not for the country, for him. So you got Steve Mnuchin, a movie producer of some sort. You got that moron in the head of HUD who can't even put two words together.
How about the Department of Education?
Yeah, Department of
Betty DeVos
about public education.
Well, she's always been against public education. She's pouring all the money into private schools.
The post office had a business that was in competition with the post office. I mean, I don't.
Well, I want to see if they
bewildered at how his base buys this shit and how they sit in a room close together with those dopey fucking red hats and spit on each other and breathe on each other and think that they're not going to, and think that it's okay. And he, meanwhile, stands way far away from them and way far away from everybody else because he's protecting himself. So he's not in any danger. So he's putting all of his voters, his fans, if you will, in danger. Don't they know that? Don't they get it?
Cult people don't know that. Hey, remember Jimmy Jones? You know,
Yeah,
it's not too far from that.
We're talking about 40 million to 50 million people here.
The ones who voted for him. But the question is, again, Maxine, getting back to ecology, what do we do to change this? Let's say we have a president, let's say Biden comes in. What can he do?
He picks up on what Obama was doing.
He puts back all the things that were rolled back, which is what I just mentioned, including, he wants to put mercury back into the air. Who the hell would want to put mercury back into the air? He's reducing the efficiency of standards in cars and trucks. Biden will put everything back to where it was so that things can improve. All these measures that Obama put into place were there for the people so that they can breathe clean air and clean. There's going to be also the Green Amendment, which is a whole show by itself. I mean, the Green, the Green New Deal. And this also will provide jobs in clean energy.
He's
Go ahead.
He's a man who's oppositional defiant. It doesn't matter what anybody does, he's against it. Okay? Anything Obama ever did, no matter what, he wants to get rid of. And that's including the caps on the mileage, the mileage thing.
Yeah, he's taking back the efficiency standards. Everything that he has put back is making climate worse. It's warming the atmosphere. It's causing the fires. It's causing the hurricanes. I mean, so what we can do individually as individuals, in a small way, get cars that are fuel efficient or hybrids or electric. Start using renewable energy. Put in LED light bulb. It's like low-hanging fruit. You start somewhere and you just bring awareness to people that stuff is going on, and you got to get your act together. I mean,
I have an electric car. I have solar on my roof.
You're a good citizen.
Light bulbs.
There you go.
And I don't breathe that much because my lungs are small.
You're a prime example. I mean, we need more, help and the government has to get in on
one of these.
Right. The oxygen. And, get back into the Paris Agreement, show the world that we're leading.
Day one, he'll get back to all of that.
So there are things we can do and we should do. And what else does Phil do that a lot of people don't? He calls his representatives. Good for you, Phil. Your breathing is good. You call your representatives.
You know what? I got talked off the ledge a little bit last night. I was really out of my mind from all this. I mean, stupidity is one of my major problems with the world. You see it all the time and it makes you crazy. And when the Democrats get stupid, they're supposed to be on my side. When they start being stupid, I get nuts.
Well,
so I tried to call the DNC, which I couldn't get through to. So I have a friend, Howard Goldstein, who was on the board with my son, the school board, Howard, and we got friendly through that. And he's a member of the Democratic organization in Beverly Hills. So I called him up and I started doing my rant about how we're doomed, So he talked me off the ledge. He said, look, you don't know what's going on inside in all the states. The Democrats have massive ground programs going to make sure people vote, going to watch out that as much damage could be avoided. Like, for example, the case in Wisconsin just now where they wanted to hold up they wanted to hold up the ballots so that they could see if they're going to put the Green Party on the ballot.
Right.
They would hold up the ballots. And they finally got the Supreme Court in Madison to say, no, you can't do that. The green person can't go on. It's a fix. It's an order. You can't do that and start sending out the ballots. Okay, well, that was hundreds of thousands of ballots that are going out now that would have sat there. And if the Green Party got on, that would have taken votes away from Biden.
Well, that's what Jill Stein did, last time. And Jill Stein
Stein lost the election for Hillary, period. It's that, I mean, if you look at the reasons, the Russian intervention, the Comey letter, and Stein. If the Comey letter and the Russian intervention happened and Stein didn't run, Hillary would have won. Stein had way more votes than Hillary needed to win. Okay, not to mention the idiots from what's his name?
The Gary something, whatever his name is.
No. Why I forget his name because the one who she ran against for president. Oh, gee.
The one who
Who
won?
ran again?
The independent from Vermont, Bernie.
Oh,
Bernie.
Sanders.
Bernie.
Bernie,
Yeah.
yeah.
If he couldn't get his people to vote for Hillary, and these idiots didn't go to the polls to allow Trump to win. How do you like all those people who could have voted for Hillary and didn't go to the polls? How about now? How about now?
Yeah.
Or you're happy with like Trump for another 4 years? That should really put this country in the toilet completely.
Well, forget about this country, the world.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Where are you going?
I don't know.
We just
All I
lost
want to
each
do
other.
is
Yes.
show you guys.
No, I'm,
Oh, what are you bringing? I'm showing you a cucumber.
wait, look, this is, oh, look.
That's the world?
North America. See North America
Yeah,
and Europe.
yeah.
Oh, wait, I got a better world.
I got a cucumber. My neighbor gave me a giant cucumber today.
Why? Homegrown?
Well, because we're neighbors and I like cucumbers, but you know, she made a joke about it, of course.
I have some jokes about that also, but my wife wouldn't appreciate it.
You have a
She
turn?
goes,
Isn't
you
that
like my cucumber, or you're just happy to see me? I'm like, both, you know.
is the world turning?
I don't know. You got a lot of worlds in your hand.
It turns by itself.
I see. Hey,
Isn't that cool?
That's really
You
awesome.
mean the USA isn't the center of the world?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
the
United
humans
States
aren't.
is the center.
No, the humans think they're the center of the world, which is why species are like, there was a report, get this, one of the main journals, 63% of species are gone.
Ooh.
Yeah,
63%.
and it won't change until this species gone.
Right, probably.
Well,
We're the cause of those species being gone.
again,
live
I
in
was
a
thinking, I don't
superior
know
thing, you know?
who we could blame if you put a blame on, but I think it might be God's fault.
It's a lot of blame because it's a lot of people.
Well, if there's a supreme being, why the hell did he give us free will?
You
I mean,
know?
we fucked up free will so much over decades of the human race. Why is he still giving it to us? He always could take it back.
I don't know. I mean,
You know what? In the mythology of it, he did the flood. He wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah. We have an expression in Yiddish, "Gunisht helfen." It
That's a
didn't
joke.
help.
Didn't help.
The human beings that took the place. So when Noah started again, and all of that happened, we have the same assholes that we did then, except more.
That by the
Now,
way,
because the population is wider, is bigger, is so much bigger. You know, there were only 120 million people when I was growing up in the United States. The population was 120 million. So yes, there was a portion of them, a certain percentage, that were assholes and morons, right? But it only takes one moron to do something horrible. Now you have a bigger pool of morons. Now you have 330 million people here. You have 3 times the morons that you had last time, and it still only takes one moron.
well,
Right.
I
So they
mean,
have more morons per capita.
with technology,
Yeah.
it only takes 1 or 2 people to destroy the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Trump is doing it single-handedly. Look what he did to this country in 4 years. Look what he did to this country.
Yep.
Could you ever believe it that one man could be so
Well,
deranged?
it wasn't just him. It's his people who enable him. You got
Yes.
Mitch McConnell.
But he's at the
You got
top.
Lindsey Graham. You got all these crazies in Senate. At least when Nixon was going out of control, there was some Republicans who had a pair of
Right.
balls and got him out of there.
Right.
You know, now you got nothing.
Well,
Right.
they got him out of there. I mean, they told Nixon, hey, We're running out of time. We have removed 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. Okay,
Well, we're having such a good time.
I know. We're
So
at
what, do
40
we pay,
minutes already.
do we pay for it now? What happens?
Maybe, I don't know. Let's see what I said. Running out of time, we removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. Leave it. No. Okay, love it. Okay. Let's say love it and let's keep it. If we pay, we pay.
Okay.
Uh,
No problem.
what was I
Well-
gonna say? Well, Nixon was told to leave by the Republicans. I don't know what they would have done if he didn't leave, but he wasn't
would've-
supported.
I would assume that
They're not- But,
I
but
would
now
assume-
it's completely different.
I would assume the Republicans at the time had the votes to remove
impeach?
them. I think no. The impeachment is one thing. Removal from office is another. It's 2 steps.
2 steps.
The removal has to happen in the Senate, and I think this Goldwater was one of the senators that went to him, and I think he said, "Look, we got the votes. We can get you. We can remove you. So if you want to get out gracefully, instead of being tossed out, resign."
Well, from
And
what I
that's-
understand, the Senate is like the trial. The
Yes.
the House
2/3.
indicts him,
Right.
and then then it's brought over to the Senate for the trial, and the
Right. And the Senate
senators or the judges,
and the
And the
senators came to
and you need
Nixon
2/3.
and said, "We got the 2/3. You better go."
Right.
Well, not now.
Well, I don't know if you've heard the recent day news with 2 people, which made me feel worried. What Roger Stone said in his interview with
the
Alex
drugs and the
Jones.
shooting
Yeah.
and he should be president for life.
He
Look.
said he should declare martial law.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And
Bill, you said that when he was first elected.
I wrote that 2 years ago in one of my blogs.
I know, but it wasn't said out loud. It wasn't said by close cohorts of Trump. And the secondly is Michael Caputo,
Caputo, yeah.
who's on the
Come on,
let's say I got his a title. He's a Assistant Secretary of the Public Affairs at the Department of Health and Human
with
Services.
no experience in that at all.
Right, but what he says is that the CDC and the Federal Drug Administrations are the deep state and are out to get Trump.
Yeah, and you know what? He walked that back today.
And did he? I didn't hear that one.
He walked
And
it back.
then he said
He
he's
sounded like an insane person.
he's like in fear of his life.
Well,
Right.
because, you
I
know,
there's long
this is what
shadows. on the
lobsters
field.
do.
Yeah, and supporters of Trump should, if they have arms, should get ammunition because
More
ammunition.
Right.
Yeah, I heard about
I have,
that.
a whole bu-
It's
I
a
have,
frightening
I have-
world out there.
I have 4 rifles, 6 handguns, and ammunition.
Yeah,
for
but do you
all.
have an AR-15 or any automatic? You have a
No,
tank?
but I got a couple of good Winchesters.
Did you have any tanks? Do you have body armor?
No.
Nope. I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing
So you-
either.
I got,
Well, you know what? We'll see.
when my puppy gets bigger, that's about it.
Right.
I mean,
No, you know, I mean that all of that stuff. I think that a lot of those people are cowards.
well,
That's what I think.
Well, I don't know. Well, as far as like the
There's enough of them that would really stand up. I think.
if going back to my psychology days, when I was in school, these are paranoid psychotics. They're paranoid schizophrenics.
paranoid schizophrenia. Yeah, that's, I heard
but
that
and-
one.
people have pictures of people sitting in this thing, this indoor quote unquote gathering he had, and they're sitting right next to each other, yelling and screaming and carrying signs.
Right.
Don't they know that there are people in there that have the virus?
They don't care.
Well,
And by the way,
And you know
the
what I
Trump-
haven't heard? Oh, here's an interesting piece of news that's not in the news. Anybody get sick when he had his convention, when all those people were sitting there together next to each other for 3.5, 4
they
hours?
signed release forms.
yeah,
But for what? Did anybody get sick?
we don't know. They'll never
Yeah.
report it. They're not reporting half. They're
Nobody
not
can find
reporting.
out.
Well, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing is where Trump has made it as a political statement. If you wear a mask, you're anti-Trump, you're a Democrat, you're no good. If you don't wear a mask, then you say, hey, I'm macho, I'm for Trump, which is not. It's purely science. According to most of the scientists, including Fauci, you wear a mask, you keep social distances. Right now, the virus is not abating. The virus is getting stronger. Why don't there are more people? There are more people dying. It's like 195,000 people are dead already. I think there are over 6 million in the U.S. who are afflicted with it, and we're not doing anything to stop it. Aside from Trump saying, "Oh, we have it under control." How the hell does he have it under control? I don't understand that. And how the hell do people believe him?
And you can't have a class action suit against the president for any civil action that anything he does officially in his time of office. You see, when Clinton was sued by Paula Jones, this was something he did before he was elected president.
Right.
So she was allowed to sue him. And the Supreme Court said she was allowed to sue him. But the Supreme Court probably wouldn't allow anyone to sue the president.
Based on what, though? A memo from the Department of Justice?
Well, that's
Not the Constitution.
But he has
Nothing that says constitutionally that he
You're right.
couldn't be brought up on charges. It's this memo in the Department of Justice.
Which means
Why
nothing.
has that not been?
It depends on who in the Department of Justice. If the criminal that we have there, A.G. Barr, says that he's going to hold to the memo, he'll hold to the memo. But once
so did Mueller.
Trump loses, and if someone comes in, could say, "I'm going to." Well, now he's out of office, so it doesn't matter. He's not.
Getting back to our original discussions about what's happening, weather conditions and ecology, Maxine, what do you think that we should do immediately? When Biden comes in and he wins, what are the things? How does we correct the weather?
Well,
I don't know if you can correct the weather. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's forest. There's a lot of things that need to be done in California. He's blaming forest management, but most of the forest, a good part, at least over half or 2/3, are owned by the federal system.
Right, yeah, they said that.
And a small percentage is owned by the state. And he keeps hammering, you gotta you gotta clean the bottom of the forest. Hello, then you'll be killing all the species that are there. How many species right now? I mean, what can you do? What do they need to do? Again, they need to put back all the regulations that were rolled back. They need to have a policy put in place for green energy. They need to get people to know that climate change is the #1 problem that is facing the globe right now. They have to get population in check. They have to clean up plastic. They have to limit what fossil fuels emit. Each person has to have a carbon footprint. You can go on the web and you can get, you say, what's my carbon footprint? You'll get a Google response and you can go to that and it'll tell you, it'll give you a series of questions. How much do you drive? What do you, how do you do you recycle? Do you do, there's a whole bunch of things and it'll tell you your carbon footprint and how to make it less.
Okay, but as a citizen, what could we do? Who could we call?
As an individual citizen?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. First of all, the first thing that Biden's going to do is going to re-sign the Paris Accord, so that and become a leader in that area of the world like we were, and put all the auto things back up where they belong. And as individuals, I'm doing a lot. I have solar panels on my roof. I have an electric car. I did the light bulb thing. You know what I mean? I'm saving a lot of electricity. I'm doing a lot right now on my own. My footprint is probably, reasonable.
You know what? What we need to do, Malcolm? You know what the answer is?
Tell
make
me.
noise.
Right, okay.
Okay, make noise. You have to go. You have to protest or go to your elected officials. Tell them climate change has to be addressed. Tell them
Well,
that
my
we have to
local,
have.
yeah, the problem, my local
Right.
officials in Los Angeles basically agree with me. You know, my congressmen and the various state senators are, you know, Democrats agree with me. How do I go beyond that?
Beyond, I mean, at that point, you mean you could try to go to federal, but that's not going to work. You know, you can go to different organizations and find out what's being done on that level. You know, there's Sierra Club or 350.org or Jordan.org. If you go to those, you know, sites, you can get information as to what, there's so many groups doing such great things to clean the ocean, to try to clean the air, what you can do to help those organizations. Donate to them, donate to the NRDC, because they're the ones who are fighting all this, you know, all these regulations to try to get them put back into place. I mean, I could just read you one thing that just kind of made me, it blew my mind. They tried to, you know, in Alaska, the parks were saying, Trump and the EPA and the Department of Parks
Interior.
said they were going after hibernating bears and the bear cubs, and wolves and the pups. They were going in and hunting them and killing them. And that was stopped like 5 years ago. Why it took so long is beyond me. I mean, then they would shoot swimming caribou and target animals from airplanes and snowmobiles. Why? This is federal land in Alaska. They said this is to promote conservation in the parks. Huh? So federal conservationists, the National Park Association, indicated that shooting hibernating mama and baby bears is not the conservationist legacies that our national parks are meant to preserve, and no way to manage park wildlife. So how do you even justify putting that into place? How?
Well, they were talking about bears. I saw this documentary probably like 6 months ago about the polar bears in Alaska and the Antarctic, where the snow drifts are melting and they have no place to go. And they're just dying out because they can't find food.
Right, and they're literally on an iceberg just floating around.
It's melting.
I mean,
Anyway, guys, we're out of time now. Maxine, I know you had you had a show, Green Divas.
Right, we have thegreendivas.com. You can, you know, get information about a lot of environmental issues and politics and how it all converges to each other.
That's greendivas.com. Well, it's the Green.
Yeah, if you go to your smart speaker and say, play the Green Divas podcast, it'll come up.
Okay, what I want to do is put some of your older podcast or your podcasts on Malcolm Digital Radio so people could.
Yeah, you have to. I got to get you and Meg together because it's probably the best way to get the shows. And she wants to come on and do shows with us too.
Okay.
Well, so that would be great.
Well, what I like is maybe you two guys.
This room right here.
Since you are the experts. Maybe for you two.
I wouldn't say we get experts.
Get experts,
but we question experts is what it is.
But you're more conversant than either Phil or I, or is it Phil and me? But anyway, I'd like maybe for you two to, for you two to do a podcast together in a separate entity. But we'll talk about that. But anyway.
I mean, she would be happy. I think she'd be into it. I mean, she emailed me back today. She's also has a new puppy. She has a great white Pyrenees that's going to be 120 pounds. So,
wow, that's what I weigh.
Yeah, I know. If the great white Pyrenees stands up, Phil, it's taller than me and you.
Sure.
No, I have a 12-year-old alley cat.
What do you?
And that's about it. But anyway, guys, thank you.
Malcolm, can I arrange for you and Meg to either talk or email each other? Or?
Yeah, you have my email and you have my telephone number.
Okay, I'm gonna have her email you first, and then you two should talk because she does all the technical stuff.
No,
You know,
because
all
I love this. I love this fact that the Zoom casting now. It's me. I'm in San Fernando Valley. Phil is
Right.
in Beverly Hills. You're in New York. Chappaqua. I love that name. Chappaqua.
And
And if you run
Meg
into
is in New Jersey, so. But we could Zoom. We could get guests on. I mean, talk about one thing that's happening is the Green Amendment movement. The Delaware Riverkeeper started this action in two states to have green amendments passed, whereby individuals and citizens of those states have the right to clean air, land, and water.
well,
And you know, believe it or not, you have to do this through legal means, and so she's working.
Maxine, we could go on forever, but thank you
Yeah.
very much for joining us. We'll have you back definitely, or have you back with your own show. And you're listening
Okay.
to us on malcolmdigitalradio.com. We're also on YouTube if you want it, and you can hear our back shows. Phil, thank you.
Lion Roar.
The Lion Thursday? Are we good for Thursday?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Bye, guys.
All right, take care. Bye. Oh, puppy, what are you doing?